Third of the jersey. Basically, should basically yeah, the property should not be listed under my assets or whatever, as I'm not listed on the actual ownership of the trailer or whatever. That's got to do with my mother. I'm just given permission to be on the property or whatever, as well as go on the trailer or whatever when my mom gives me that such permission. But assuming my position as her son, which is basically her next of kin, that gives me a specific permission to protect her and her property or whatever for that or whatever. But it should not be listed as my asset or whatever because it's not. I'm not on the actual ownership of it, and it's not actually my asset or whatever. I have no title or deed on that specific. I am just a given rights as a son to the actual owner of it, especially when I am invited over by the mother or whatever, or if there's potentially any danger to the mother or whatever, or et cetera, et cetera. Kind of like um, when the police can break down your door if there is a fire type of thing with my mother. And but it should not be listed as my asset or whatever. It's one of my mother's assets who is not on an asset threshold like me. I'm on an asset threshold currently. She can have as many assets as she wants or whatever. And I'm limited to I think 50,000 in my bank, and uh, then I'm limited to I think a certain amount of actual physical assets and things. But my mom's basically unlimited. She can have unlimited assets and stuff on her current current life and income situation. She's not signed any uh, specific contracts or anything. So, which I am. I'm signed to the Ontario Disability Support Program. So I have a specific contract with them in regards to the amount of assets that I can hold on to or obtain or um, maintain, which I'm nowhere near at all. And I used to have a motorcycle, an e-bike, electric motorcycle. That was a thing at the time. Whatever, increased the voltage of it and whatever, was going real fast on it. But I sold it since now, so I got rid of a lot of assets. Same with my truck, my Cadillac Escalade or whatever. I had to sell that, or I had to give away that Cadillac. I had to literally forfeiture that Cadillac Escalade to pay for damages, and that was agreed on. There was in Teeswater or whatever. I don't know if anyone knows, but there was a prior town that I lived in. It's like you could probably see it on that electric motorcycle riding through town video, et cetera, et cetera. There were some things that went down there. I had to forfeit my Cadillac or whatever to pay for some property damage or whatever. And but I'm going for a new vehicle this time. I will not be scammed by classified cash for sale stuff. I learned my lesson big time on that. I spent $4,000 cash on that Cadillac, and it was like one of the worst investments I ever made. So I'll definitely stick to doing that whole mortgage and financing thing or whatever, financing for sure when it comes to the vehicles. And so I can leverage that dollar because it's all about leveraging the dollar. At first, I was like, okay, I'm going to buy it cash or whatever. But I guess I'm that example, that story of you shouldn't really never buy it with cash. Keep that cash in the bank and use that leverage. You know, don't go ahead and buy Don't go ahead and buy that vehicle cash, even if you got the cash. It's not the smartest thing to do because they'll just rob you. They'll rob the hell out of you. You got to use that financing against them, $100 or $200 a month or whatever, and they're and basically it's like that or whatever. You just don't buy those unless you're extremely rich or whatever. And even if you're extremely rich and you're just picking up all these vehicles like I was, like what's it called? It's not the smartest thing in the long run or whatever because those vehicles, what is it called? Break down and whatnot, and then you don't have any warranty with them or whatever. The tire, uh, that whole thing that they have or whatever, it's very important. More important than you would think or whatever. Their service departments and as well as their support or whatever to when you get on that financing. So I don't know which car brand I'm going with, honestly. Like I'm not looking to be stupid. Like I said, I've lived through a lot of hardships um, when it comes to buying things. I was thinking Tesla, but we'll have to see how it goes for them because I'm still going to be looking like my me for getting my financing probably won't be for another 5 years or so. So we'll see about maybe even sooner. They're saying, but quite possibly or whatever. But who knows what's going to happen? But we'll see what they come out with. That's really what I'm up to right now. I just see all the cars on the road as these very old vehicles that are expiring, and I'm very interested in what they're going to come out in the next 10 years or whatever. And because that's when I'll be shopping and I'm going to get that financing. So uh, I like this here, that ergonomical steering wheel or whatever I guess they're calling it, almost like an airplane or whatever. And the only thing is, it's like I don't totally trust this system here. Thing with the gas combustibles is it's getting really hot out also. It's like if the sun gets really hot or whatever on us or whatever, it could potentially light your gas on fire inside your vehicle. Could be one. You know how when your vehicle gets extremely hot or whatever, the metal around it and everything, depending on how hot it gets, like it could ignite the fossil fuel from within your vehicle or wherever, and we could see explosions. But same thing could go with these lithium ions. So I really just want to let it play out for a while. We'll see how hot it gets. But and these lithium ions can be manipulated as well, or whatever. Electric powertrain. But I've rode in a Tesla, and I've seen them online or whatever. And that was always my genuine worry or whatever. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, but it is a factual thing that lithium ions can sizzle or whatever. So I don't know the exact system. I think they do air condition excuse me. I think they continuously air condition the complete vehicle or whatever during certain times. I'm pretty sure the thing never turns off or something is what the thing is. It's like this thing that sits there and hibernates all the time, and um, it's controlled by a highly sophisticated network or whatever. But at the same time, uh, I'll just leave it at that. Freedom to travel. Enter a destination on your touchscreen and trip planner. We have one of these in my town at the Wendy's or whatever. We have a supercharger. Actually, it's not the whole station. It's just one. I don't even think it's a supercharger. I think it's just one of those the standard chargers for the Tesla or the electrical vehicles. We have one in my town or whatever that I'm in right now or whatever, but they have them all over. And auto park. If I'm going to go with it, I'm going to get that full out with the autopilot and the auto parking and all that. If I'm going to, if I'm going to put it on my credit, which will be back at 900 within the next 7 years, then I'm going to just be very smart with what I'm going to go for the home, and I'm going to also go for a vehicle, probably electric. I'll probably go electric. Tesla's big in my mind. We'll have to see. They're number one right now, anyway, for my mind right now for the future. But quite possibly, I'm also looking at those Bugattis and things, but those get very expensive. Very expensive. They're close to $1 million. And that's a little bit out of my price range right now, unless I was able to secure a brand deal with Bugatti or something. Other than that, and they just did this big brand deal with those YMCMBs or whatever, and I don't even think they can afford it. They just gave Birdman one for free or whatever to show it on camera or whatever. And that's all. You showed it on camera or whatever and all that. And you know what their big thing is? They gave it to Birdman for free because they thought like somebody was going to work so hard to buy it with cash. And no one, that whole gig is up with Birdman. Everyone knows they gave it to him for free because he was just a poor ass nigga from Louisiana and they felt bad for him. And then they wanted him to put it on video or whatever to like show off their Bugatti or whatever. That guy's lost so many homes, it's unbelievable. If you go look him up or whatever, go look him up on YouTube. You can go see that new Birdman abandoned. This one I know is fucking just killing him in his gut or whatever. Every day he's existing on this earth or whatever. He's this gigantic mansion he left abandoned in Louisiana. Who knows? You might pick it up, but he was left it abandoned, and I think under the law or whatever, once you leave a piece of property like that abandoned, when you're so poor you can't even maintain it or whatever. Like, look at this estate. Who the in their right mind would abandon an estate? Somebody extremely poor that was thinking a little bit too big for their little tiny little monkey mind. Is what it is. And look at how green the entire fucking pool is. It's absolutely disgusting. These niggas don't even know what they have. They're like they was just want. It's like, where are you gonna go from here? You're gonna jump off the side of the earth and go fucking float through space? It's right here, bud. Your mansion's right here. You know what I mean? Where are you going now? Oh, he wanted to move to Florida, so he pushed Rick Ross out of Florida up to Georgia or whatever, and there he is. And I don't even think he's anything. I think he's in a condo in Florida, and he's on his way out. And Bugatti is like pissed. Everyone just found out about Bugatti, and he ain't waking up in one tomorrow, quite possibly. So now Birdman, he's on the run or whatever, kind of like that General Beans or whatever, if you even know that nigga or whatever, and nobody wants to go to his neck of the woods because his neck of the woods ain't doing too well or whatever, obviously, but they're on their way back or whatever. But Birdman's getting real old or whatever, in my opinion or whatever. And the mansion was featured in the music video for Birdman and Lil Wayne's 2005 song "Neck of the Woods." It's like, so basically they used all this property here or whatever, and it's just sitting there or whatever, like a big dump or whatever, and wasted everybody's hard work and resources to create such a monstrosity of a mansion or whatever, just to film that Neck of the Woods video or whatever. And then Birdman's going to try to claim in the courts or whatever to get it back from abandonment or whatever, and that's his goal right now. Probably is to try to get his property back or whatever from the seizure that happened or whatever because he left it abandoned or whatever, which is maybe an easy thing to do, maybe a hard thing to do. Depends on how much money he's actually making or whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean. It sometimes you know what's been going on is a lot of fraud lately or whatever. Fraud is on the freaking. Well, I'm trying to make it go down or whatever. It was on the come up or whatever, fraud or whatever, big time or whatever. This thing where you could say you had this money or whatever, and everyone believed you or whatever, even the realtors or whatever, and then they just fraud them or whatever, and they just use them or whatever, and all that or whatever, and it comes back on them big time. And because then they just tank the economy or whatever, and everyone's eating each other like hungry beasts or whatever. But then that Birdman's just sitting there or whatever, and then Birdman starts shaking or whatever, and people start to see who he really is.